you the main character, or are you just full of yourself? That is tonight's million-dollar question. Who is the main character? Of what? Are we talking about a show? A book? Can I phone a friend? What the hell is going on? Now, the answer depends, obviously. Do I look like I would sell you crystals and tarot cards? Now, obviously, the answer to that question depends. Are you the main character in your own life? Probably. I would hope so. Are you the main character in my life? Yes, you are. I am outside your window. Can I just say you are very boring? Are you the main character in your mom's life? Probably. Are you the main character in your dad's life? Absolutely not. But I feel like a very popular topic online has always been being the main character energy, loving yourself. And I feel like it came alongside of the self-help meta that was kind of big online. And I do feel like the origins of it were frankly positive. I feel like a lot of self-help and self-improvement channels really just wanted you to kind of reframe the way that you think. In like a stop being a people pleaser and stop centering the needs of others in your own life kind of way. Someone else being the main character of your life sounds like a skill issue to me. But much like everything else online, what started with good intentions got co-opted by the egomaniacs and people who were already main characters for everybody. You know what I mean? People who honestly didn't need this advice. They were already heeding it, which I feel like kind of leads into a totally separate thing that I find really frustrating that kind of, but also kind of doesn't have to do with this video. But because it is my video, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm allowed to sidetrack a little. But I feel like a lot of people who the advice wasn't for in terms of stop centering others in your life took the advice and then became the worst. And I just have a question for people online. Why do people always want to make every piece of advice and everything they hear try to fit them and adhere to them? Why does the saying, if it don't apply, let it fly, not apply to anybody anymore? But one of the main ways I felt like a lot of people were learning to be their own main characters in their own lives was simply just learning how to prioritize themselves more, you know, and celebrate their wins. Like people were leaving their toxic exes, going to the gym more, cooking for themselves, things that were more aligned with simply romanticizing their own lives and putting as much effort into themselves as they do for others, treating themselves like the main character of their stories. I feel like I remember I saw one TikTok that I doubt I'll be able to find because I saw it a long time ago, but it was a TikTok of a girl who basically bought herself flowers at the end of the day after getting a job that she really wanted. Now that's main character shit. And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked, because it felt like it kind of moved to us centering ourselves in other people's lives. It felt like it turned into people doing what the streets were calling shit that's really obnoxious. Also, just as a caveat, I think I'm going to be talking about this topic broadly as a general thing, as a topic, as a trend. I don't think I'm going to be including specific videos of the people I'm talking about because I just don't want to incite that. These are still real people. Also, we've learned very much in recent history that a lot of people are truly making things up for that clock app.
I did not care for The Godfather.
And the shit they do online might not even be really reflective of their actual values, which makes it kind of worse. Like, I bet you think I'm just in my room filming this video. I'm actually in the middle of traffic. But that's all to say, it kind of felt like it moved from being about centering yourself in your own life to centering yourself in other people's day and worlds and doing loud and obnoxious things in public. It felt like it started to feel more about like caricatures. It felt like people were really just wanting to record themselves like strutting like a model down a busy intersection, or like singing really loud in public, dancing in the middle of really high traffic places. Like, remember, the clock app used to just be people always dancing and never inside their own homes for some reason. It's like they went out looking for the most high traffic area they could find to start hitting the renegade. But a big part of the main character and making yourself the main character in your own life is that it's supposed to be something that changes your behavior when you're not recording yourself. It's supposed to be something that you would do and can do for yourself all the time to center yourself, again I say,
in your life.
It became less about being a main character and more about performance art, straight up. A lot of the stuff felt like it was becoming so performative that it just straight up didn't make sense. Because without the camera, without TikTok, without social media, nobody's ever doing this. Who's dancing outside without filming it? Except your one local unhoused friend who lives at your intersection who calls you the N-word whenever he's high. Nobody. Ironically, it felt like it was no longer about seeking to be the main character of your own life or learning to do that self-validation, and leaned into something that's already super big and popular online, which is just turning everything into an external need for validation. And I'm not saying I'm above this. Some might even say I partake in it quite heavily. I love being validated. Do that shit right now. But it's interesting because it's like a full circle moment right back to people pleasing. Now, there's nothing wrong inherently with that either, but there's certainly nothing main character, at least by the original definition of it. The streets are saying it's actually the complete opposite. I won't lie though, there is something a little bit main character about like lip syncing to a song loud as hell in the subway. Sometimes it's even kind of charming. After about 7 p.m. though, it has a real layer of spook. It adds a really solid layer of extreme fright to a situation that's already extremely frightening. All around the world, do you hear me? But there's definitely an energy about buying yourself a treat after you've accomplished something really big that actually has main character energy. That does have that main character energy that dancing in the middle of the mall does not. And the reason why is because of the angle of who is it for. There's always been a weird relationship online with what it meant to be yourself, to be real and to be authentic, especially as it pertained to like your mental health. Because I don't know how many times we really have to go through this, but the internet is not a place for authenticity. By virtue of the fact that something is filmed and posted, there is a layer of disconnect from what was said and that person that strips away some of the reality of it every single time, no matter what. Is that a hot take? That might be a pretty hot take. Feel free to agree with me in the comments. But TikTok and short form content in general is kind of built off of getting as close as possible as you can get to something in the moment and real and authentic. But I think the shift in main character energy being something that was about taking care of yourself and centering yourself in your life and moving it to just another way to create content online for clicks, views, and engagement bait, point out that truly you can find any way to ruin something. And y'all always do. I swear it almost started to feel competitive, like who can be the mainest main character. And it got to a point of being so negative that main character syndrome became a thing. It wasn't always that. And it wasn't always a negative thing. The main character energy to having main character syndrome pipeline is crazy. And I am currently in it. Because the energy and the syndrome have a very different energy about them. You can tell when someone just has energy and when someone is suffering with
the syndrome.
And it honestly was truly a good way to describe it because it did turn from something that was an energy to something that does sound like an illness and might be. It made it sound almost derogatory. And main character energy, unlike syndrome, is when we have a clear deviation away from centering yourself in your life and no longer people pleasing and having a lot more to do with a delusional view of your importance in the world and centering yourself in others' lives. It has an inherent kind of energy of delusion with it because it certainly overinflates, I think, your position in other people's lives, especially in strangers' lives. Is it ironic for someone who makes YouTube videos to be coming for people who think they have main character energy, but it's actually syndrome? It's not. Of course, I'm the main character of my channel. But all that was a precursor before I start talking about y'all, the audience. I'm always gonna do that. And you know why I'm always gonna do that? Because audience and creator are one and the same. There's actually no separation between any of us. We are the creators and the consumers. But my hot take is just because you're not one of these types of people or you don't create content in the middle of the mall doesn't mean that you don't have main character
syndrome.
And I think one of the biggest symptoms of main character syndrome and centering yourself too much in everything going on around you is the what about me-isms. And I'm sorry, but TikTok commenters are some of the worst offenders with this. Because I be scrolling and I almost always go into the comments to read. And some of y'all, it's on sight. I don't even know you, but I know if I see you in public, I'ma hit you. But I'm talking about the comments that have absolutely no ability to just remind themselves, if you can't imagine how something someone said would work for you, if something someone said can't apply to you, then it simply wasn't for you. They miss the whole concept of not everything is for me or about me or targeted to me. People on Twitter do this so much too. They do it so much. God, it makes me so mad. If it don't apply, let it fly. Why do we always forget that? You too suffer from main character syndrome if you see someone talking about a specific topic or something like that online where it clearly wouldn't or couldn't apply to you and you somehow find a way to make it. Like, I don't want to be shady. Y'all remember when someone on TikTok posted the recipe recipe of the bean salad, and people were commenting under it being like, but how do I eat
this if I don't like beans?
This is a salad made of beans for people who like beans. I do think a very popular post-panty thing is all of us desperately craving self-improvement to some capacity. Because I think that was the first time in a long time that we had time to focus on ourselves in that way. And I think a lot of us became kind of addicted to it because it feels nice when you've done it for the first time if you've never even been able to do it before. So of course we needed it to some degree, but it evolved way past that. The need for real authenticity and learning about self-love, self-improvement, and centering yourself in your own life died, and in its place came the renegade. So what was the point of this video and what is the wrap up? Also, I just think this is so funny. When I was Googling an actual definition for main character syndrome, the Google AI responded to me saying, if you or someone close to you believes you may have been affected by main character syndrome, you can try talking to a licensed therapist or taking steps to reduce your own main character energy. And there you have it. What's the most main character way that I can close out this video? Would it be insane to make a fan cam of myself? I'm stupid. And that, my friends, is the end of the video. Me and my banana, who has the most main character energy a plushie could ever have, are grateful that you watched. So I just really wanted to make this video because I wanted to make this video. Spoiler alert, that's the reason why I make all of my videos, so sick. I am very curious your feelings about it. Does you or anybody that you know suffer from main character syndrome? And how have you been helping them move through it? But anyway, as always, if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.